Hey guys, NJ here, and today we're just going to have a quick chat about the Sky03 Skyzone goggles. These are brand new to the market. I think they're pretty much aimed at directly competing with something like the Fat Shark HD3s. We're talking about a very similar and large field of view of around 43 degrees. We're talking about 800 by 600 resolution optics. I'm not entirely sure, but they do seem like perhaps they might even be the same optics that go in the Fat Shark HD3s. Don't quote me on that. But this is the kind of price point and comparison spot for those. So obviously I was pretty excited. I know Skyzone have a pretty good track record. I know the Sky02s were very popular, lots of top pilots using those and loving them. And yeah, these are my first Skyzone, so I was excited to see what they were like. Now I will be doing a review video on these, a proper review video. That is not this today. Today I want to talk about something slightly different, but I think pretty crucially important to the buying decision on these goggles if you are considering them aside of the review, and that is to do with the fitment, and specifically with anthropometrics, which is the study of us as humans. You know, the measurements and distances between our eyes and our nose and the bridge of our nose, etc, etc. This is data that all good goggle manufacturers should have absolutely bucket loads of to be able to design a goggle that will fit the most of us, if not all of us. That's a really crucial thing, and it's one thing that Fat Shark have had right, literally right from the beginning. They've altered it very little across all their models, and this is my old V1 attitudes. These are seriously old and tired now, but the actual shape of these has been brilliant. It's fit perfectly. And how many people do you know with Fat Shark goggles that complain about the fitment of them? Now that probably gives you a clue as to what I'm about to talk about here. These I found to be incredibly uncomfortable and very ill-fitting, and I was really surprised and obviously disappointed at this, but I wanted to know why. I wanted to see, because on first look at them they look like they should be comfortable. You know, nice curve, good face plates, nice array of different sizes of foam. I thought this was going to be a winner, but I could not get this to be comfortable and in focus. You had to choose one or the other, but you couldn't get the sweet spot of both. And after a bit of investigating, I think I've really got to the bottom of exactly what it is. Now, it sits around knowing where the bridge of the nose is, and on most of us, the bridge of the nose, if you get your finger and you put it into the bridge of your nose, that most recessed point, you will find that it normally cuts across your eye line. And the problem here is that, as you can see, this point of contact with the bridge of your nose is pretty damn low, and there isn't actually enough of a recess in here to accommodate for, and I'm not saying to accommodate for anyone with a big nose, I'm saying to accommodate for anyone with a nose. It really is that bad, I'm finding. And the reason for this, if you look at something like the Aeon Way Commanders, let me just take these down. Can you see, obviously my phone's a little bit dead here, but can you see how the top, the bridge of the nose where these start to fall away is up here, right in line with the eye line of the optics. It's exactly where it needs to be. It's not a huge cavity, and you know, these aren't perfect for me, but they're certainly a lot better. I can get my eyes close to the optics. That works. If we look at the Fat Sharks, you can see, I mean, wow, look at the cutout there. Absolutely huge. Again, same thing as I was saying, the bridge of the nose cuts the optics, and with that nice big cavity there, you can see why these are so comfortable for just about everyone that tries them on. Again, let's go back here. Can you see what the problem is? So why don't we cut up to a shot of me and my face, and let's have a look at exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, so here I am. We're going to use my face as a case study for this particular issue that I want to talk about. Let's have a look at how these two faceplates, we have the Fat Shark faceplate and we have the Sky faceplate, and let's see how they fit up against my face. Now, I think my nose is fairly average. I don't think it's necessarily the smallest nose. I don't think it's the biggest nose. I think it's pretty down the middle, but I'm still sensitive about these things, guys, so you know, try to be nice. If we look at the Sky03 faceplate, you'll notice that the bridge point at where the nose starts to fall away is actually quite low down. And this is something which I think is common to all of us. Most of us, if you were to take your finger and actually sit it in the bridge of your nose, the point at which it's most recessed, you'll notice that your finger generally cuts the middle of your eye line. It might be ever so slightly higher, it might be a little bit lower, but generally it sits around that point of where your eyes are. Now if you look at the Sky03 faceplate, you will notice that the actual contact point of where the bridge of the nose will sit is really in line with the bottom of the optics. It's too low. And if I try and put these up against my face, and hey look, I'll make myself look stupid just to prove my point here, you'll see the point at which if I have my eyes lined up for the centre of the optics, I've actually got a contact point here, and if I just hold my finger there, it's making contact with my nose here, not here. That's a pretty big distance, and it is a serious problem, because what the result of that is is that if I've got the optics perfect and I've got them so that they're right in the centre, which is important, this is actually pushing away the faceplate where my nose is making contact, and I end up with a gap under here, you know, and that's a lot of light leak under here. That's a real problem. In order to get the fitment right, they need to sit further up on my face. Now I've got no light leak, this is nice and comfortable, but look where my eyes are. They're so much lower than where the centre point of the optics are, and that makes it really problematic. So you can either get a really nice fitment and absolutely no alignment with the optics, or alignment with the optics and a huge light leak gap under here. There's also the problem that using thicker foam might help a little bit with the comfort, but it's pushing your eyes further away from the optics. This is particularly bad when you're dealing with goggles where the optics have a particularly large field of view, because when you're dealing with 40 degrees and above, the way the optics work, you need your eyes close to those optics. If they're not close to the optics, the further away you move your goggles, and you can pick your goggles up that you have right now and see this for yourself, not box goggles, but if you've got Fat Shark style goggles, as you move the optics away from your eyes, you'll see the optics start to distort the edges of the screens. So thicker foam will perhaps solve the problem of comfort, but it's taking your eyes further away from the screen and introducing edge blur. And this is a real anthropometric failure as far as I'm concerned, and a bit of a non-starter, because you have to compromise. You either go for no light leak and great and better fitment, but terrible alignment with the optics, or you can get the optics aligned and you'll have light leak and it's pretty uncomfortable on the bridge of your nose if your nose is anything like mine, or look, if you just have a nose, it's going to be a problem. By stark contrast, let's have a look at the Fat Shark faceplate. Now you can see here, if I line these up, I mean, look at the difference. This is following a much better profile where we actually have, again, the bridge of the nose cutting the centre of the eye line. And lo and behold, look at that. Absolutely no light leak gaps under here. It's a good fit all the way around, and it's falling away at the right point on the bridge. And I've got a little bit of room to move. It still doesn't get uncomfortable on the nose. That is a lesson that all goggle manufacturers should have learned moving forward. How many people do you know that are complaining about the comfort of Fat Sharks? This is a big reason why, and it's really important. Again, let me just show you those two things together. Can you see them side by side? Why these don't fit a lot of people very comfortably at all. And it's a real shame, because I think these have got some great features, these goggles, and I was looking forward to reviewing them. As I said, I will do a review on them. I will go more in depth on the functionality of the goggles and how they work. But this is an important thing, and I really think they've fallen over with this. And you can see here, there is just absolutely no comparison in terms of the cavity for the nose. As I said, it was reduced. Like on the Commanders, it's not as much of a recess as it is on the Fat Sharks, but it was just enough to be able to clear my hooter without too much of an issue. Really, I would have liked that, because my nose does still touch this, but it's fine. But as I said, there's a reason Fat Sharks are so damn comfortable. There is a reason that they buck up to your face and don't light leak nearly as much. So the next question is, what am I going to do about this? Because it's a real conundrum for me. You know, I really want to love these. They've got loads of great features. As I said, I'll go through all those in the review video. But this is such a problem in terms of fitment. What I'm probably going to do, as these are a review sample, I probably will perhaps look into taking these apart and seeing exactly how much dead space there is around here, and actually getting a Dremel, and I'm actually going to modify this to actually give me more space there. That will allow my eyes to get close to the optics, which is where they need to be, and it will mean that I have some level of comfort here for my nose. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Is that a solution for the rest of you? Hey, I mean, that's for you to call. Obviously, if anything went wrong with these and you had to send them in for warranty, they're probably going to notice if you've hacked any kind of sections out of the goggles themselves. But it will be an interesting experiment anyway, so stick around. I will be going into in-depth review on these, but for now I just wanted you to have a real heads up on my thoughts thus far.